It's your boy Dark Pool Algo, and here is another of our weekly futures recap and I don't know upcoming week in review. I've been doing these for a couple weeks now. Things seem to be pretty standard, pretty stiff. I don't even know what to say. The market is moving in pretty measured moves. Okay. Obviously, none of this is trading advice. None of this. I mean, you know the deal. It's not trading advice. It's just my personal opinion, and this is what I'm looking for in the upcoming week. Okay. So, reviewing last week, well, 2 weeks ago. So this is last current week, and then the week before. Remember the week before we were saying, oh, we could pull down into some support here and move up. This move, this longer term move here, right, from this low back at the end of January to the high in the middle of December, came back down into support. We tapped the 127, right? And this week we tapped the 1414. So I'm the way I do things, I'm just going to go ahead and remove this move here. Like this move has been, in my opinion, traded out. Okay, so we can, if we do get a downside move, we can always just come back and redraw that. Okay, so looking at this move here from low to high, we retraced, we held the 50%, we came up. This is at the end of 2 weeks ago, right? So going into this past week, right, we had said if this up move holds, we may get a retrace back down early in the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We actually hit the 618 retracement on Thursday and launched from that up to that previous 1414 level. Okay, and I'm going to say that move may be terminated. Now, looking at this week, we do have a shorter term extension that could be set up if that's the case. So, right, we're looking at from this low to this high, retrace the 618, right? The move should be targeting 5168, my favorite 1414 extension of 5191, right? So if this is a continuation move, we could possibly look at, early in the week, some continuation up, and then retracing down off of this low to whatever this move's high is going to be. Okay. I don't know if I want to consider that move, but we did hit the 1414. We could get a little bit more extension. Actually, if I was smart, I would do this. So let's see what. I wonder if I could. Wonder if. Oh, there we go. Control Z works in Thinkorswim for returning things that you may have taken off your list. All right, so what I'm seeing is in this initial move, right, from the end of December to middle of January, 127 extension was hit, and we drew a new retracement for support, continuation move up. The 1414, which is my normal target, was hit. But looking at the symmetry that we have currently from the end of January, in this move, 1618 would be termination, termination of the uptrend, in my opinion. We have symmetry with that and this current moves, 1414, right at the 5190.92 level, right? So 1618 and this current moves 1414, 5191, right? So that's going to be my target for this week, 5191 on the ES. If we get, initial target's going to be 5168, 5191, and then there could be some additional retracements down, or it could be a turn. All right, moving on to the NQ. Symmetry, all right, I like to look for symmetry in moves. So from the end of January, mid-December, pulled back, couldn't quite break up, a little bit of a downtrend. Now, this candle, right, the body of the candle didn't close more than 50% below the retracement, even though the wick down. So this uptrend is still valid. I know it's a little weird sometimes to think of it that way, like, oh, it closed below the 618 and the 50%. Well, I don't believe that body closed it low enough. All right, so going into last week, right? Oh, I got the wrong one. Give me 1 second here. I thought I'd had all this prepped up, but I guess not. So appreciate your patience and bearing with me. I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible because I know We don't like listening to videos all day. All right, so, all right. This was this previous week's move. Last Saturday or Sunday, we'd said, all right, so if this Friday close is the top, we could look for a retracement back down for a continuation move to the upside, which we got. We got a move down to the 618. So Monday, kind of choppy. Tuesday, a little bit more, whatever you want to call it, accumulation, consolidation, whatnot. But we did not get an additional close below the 618. So we tapped it on Wednesday, Thursday, dipped down, and then just lifted off from that. So if this is the continuation move, we hit the 127 on Friday, which is also the 127 of this longer term move. I like the 1414 as an initial target, and then obviously the 1618. So, that's a 50-point gap. I wouldn't call a lot of symmetry in that, but the 127, there's definitely some. So if we see some continuation and closing above this, I think we may tap the 1414. If we get a candle to close above the 127, at least 50%, I would say the 1618 is going to be the initial target. 3-bar move, typically you'll see 3 bars up, candle down, and then continuation. 1, 2, 3. This could be the third wave of an Elliott, back to 4, and then continuation to 5. So NQ, very similar to this type of move here, right, where we had 2 strong bars up, little wick up to the 1414, and then maybe some pullback for continuation throughout the rest of the week. Looking at this on the 4-hour, just because I've been trading NQ a lot lately, right? Right, nice move up, retracement, extension. Right. So this was the downside move. I was looking for it to close above the 382, which it did later in the week. Right, we got a whole candle above it, even though it was after hours. So this is a continuation move up. This is, if I were to fib this, I would assume that the retracement from that high to that low is at a 50% retracement, and that would just indicate to me continuation move to the upside. Shorter term targets, if we wanted to look at that, right, move up, 618 retrace, continuation up, we would just do a fib extension from this low, this high, back down to that low, right? We did hit the 1618. I mean, this move may technically be over, right? We may look for, some support coming down. Bears are going to push to at least half of this 4-hour bar here, 197. Let's just do this. Okay. Looking at this, we can go. Problem with this is, there we go. 18201. For retracement, if we do have a downside move, or if we have a retracement. 18201, kind of a pullback. This holds continuation up. If it fails and we get a 4-hour bar closing below 61 or 160, I would look for moves back down into these areas of support. All right. All right. Let's just do YM. Right. From this low to this high, we retraced, we held, we hit the 127. Right. So going into last week, I wasn't too keen. Sorry about that. Let me just see if I can get this a little. There we go. So this was the previous week, right? I'd said, we hit the 127. Do we retrace down and then continuation move up, which it looks like we did this previous week. So came down, held the 50%. Now we're going to look at an up move. So initial extension from this low to this high, right? little symmetry here at the longer term 1618 and the shorter term 1414. 703. So initial target at 5999. Above 311. So if the move goes right, this is what it's going to do basically. Above 311, we're going to hit 46.8, 5999, right? We may get a little bit of choppiness there. This 1618 move at 692 is a longer term target. We may wick up into 733 or 700. Okay. All right, moving over to the Russell. I kind of like trading the Russell, but I just haven't been doing it lately. All right, so last week's move, right? I said that the previous week, right, we'd hit a high, we retraced down, we actually closed below the 50%, right? So we were looking for continuation move down. We didn't close below the 382, so this uptrending move is still valid, right? And that was this low to this high, retrace, next high, 97.8 and 103.2, right? Those are the targets from these two last moves. I said last week where I wasn't really, just remove this. All right, so I wasn't really super comfortable until we had got a close above. So we got a downside move, right? The same rules with fibs apply. 618. If it had held there, continue downside. 50% even held downside. What I would have waited for in going into this previous week is I wasn't really sure what we were going to do as far as the move was concerned, because we could go either way, right? So we had a downside play, we had an upside play. Monday, we didn't close above the 50% retrace from the downside move. Tuesday, we got a bar closing at least 50% above the 382. So this downside move is invalidated, right? So we can remove that. Now we're looking for an upside move. Okay. So if we're looking for a retracement from this move, we never got one, right? We could have gone at the beginning of the week, right? Hey, it's a new week. We go from the low to the high of the week. Okay, so if we sorry, I had to take a break for a second. So if we were going from the Monday low to Tuesday high, I mean, the retracement held. We could possibly do an extension based on that. These giant wicks are a little concerning to me, right? Low, high, low. Wednesday, kind of a breather, right? Thursday, big wick up through the 127, almost to the 144, and then Friday, a move up. But Russell, I mean, I would say the target is the previous high of 2097, right? So if we get that, right, we hit it one day, the end of last year, and then immediately we profit taking and a lot of consolidation. I don't like long wicky candles, right? Just doesn't show a lot of strength. It looks like a lot of liquidity grabs, like, oh, let's just go up and grab all these orders, right? And then continuation up, because typically when you see a long wick, you get a reversal, right? So with the Russell, like I said, for this week, since we closed on a low, may back test some support and then continuation up, or may downturn. There's a wedge there. Just doesn't feel like there's a lot going on for me. Ultimate target would be previous high, which is 1618, 127, and 1414 of previous moves. All right. Gold. I mean, kind of the same similar situation with gold. The week before, we'd kind of, you know, funneled. This is a megaphone pattern, right? We held the 618. We never really came down and tested this again, so lots of consolidation. And then we had a big, massive move on Friday, right? So still has not been an uptrend, right? This is a lot of accumulation. Wow, that's crazy. We almost hit previous highs at 2098. So if this big bullish move continues to happen, let's just go with this for a second. So potential retrace down to previous highs at 2070, 2072, 2070, 65, 62. So a pullback and then a continuation up, or we just get a blow off top of 114, 124, 137. See, and this is why I don't like long wiki candles, right? See how long this candle is, right? See how this closing body, we haven't had a closing body on this since this all-time high, right? So we could, I mean, you could possibly do a liquidity zone, something along the lines of this. Right? Not going to trade anything until I get a close above that, right? Because then it'll give me some direction. So if I get a candle close above this gray bar, then all of this right here is up for grabs. So, okay. Crude. Accumulation, consolidation, whatever you want to call it. I call it a lot of choppiness. We did get a move up. Not a real retrace. So this longer term 618 is holding. Right. So if this downtrend is over, then what we're going to look for is a continuation move to the upside to close above the 50% retrace from the large move down, 81.42, working towards 84.59. I personally like it when crude's down, so lower gas prices. Right. Bonds, right? Downside. Retracement held, consolidation, right? We stopped right at the 618 retracement from these downside moves. Really want to see this hold the $120 range and then just continue down, right? We're looking at this downside move here. If it breaks, if we get a close above that, 50% bar close above the high from Friday at 120, then we need to just refit the whole thing because this downside move is invalidated and we should be looking at upside moves. All right, and then the yen, right? Did we? Nope. We didn't. We didn't get that move down. So move down, right? Retrace 618. A lot of accumulation in this area here. Looks like there's an upside move trying to start. Right. Again, long wick. big bearish candle, right? We haven't been able to get out of that bearish candle, so there may be some continuation to the downside. Hopefully, because I like it when the yen is down, because it usually means that the market's up. All right, that's it. Thanks for joining me. If you've got any questions, hit me up in the comments. Obviously, been doing a lot of prop firm trading, a lot of futures trading. Got some great discount codes for some prop firms that aren't the big marketed ones like TopStep or Apex, which Apex had pretty significant issues last week. The week before, TopStep had some pretty significant issues. So the problem with those larger firms or larger marketed prop challenge companies, it's just volume, right? If they're doing 80% off sales past 1 days, you're getting people that are spending whatever their cost is, $50, let's say, and just YOLOing massive amounts of contracts and just resetting. It's obviously going to put strain on the servers. So, yeah, if you're interested in prop firms, hit me up on the comments, and I will maybe delve into those a little bit more. Thanks. Have a great week. Trade safe.